Over 100 years of serving this country. Barbados like a power company. From Christchurch to St. Lucie. Barbados like a power company. You can count on us.
Hello there, I'm Cassandra Crawford. Welcome to this episode of Energy Talks. Today I'm paying some visits to some locations where our Technical Planner 3, Cindy Callender, is doing her inspections. And I wanted to share this with you so you understand as a customer, as an electrician, what you need to do. Okay. So we are here at one of your inspections. What is the first thing you are looking for once you arrive on site?
Okay, Cassandra, what I do to make sure that I'm at the correct location is, first of all, I take a look at the installation number. I would have it on my service order, and I will look to make sure that the number corresponds to what is on the service order. I typically like to have it, I like this style here because it's written in a permanent format. Sometimes persons would write it with a marker, and by the time I get here it's faded, but this is a very permanent format that is really good. Next thing, I start from the top. I do my inspection from the top and come to the bottom. So next thing I look for would be for what we term the screw hook. Now, because this is a 4-meter cubicle, it means that this customer would require an eye bolt. Typically, if it is a single meter, the customer will require a screw hook. In this case, an eye bolt is required. The customer does not have an eye bolt installed. So obviously this would delay the process in getting a supply. Next, I make sure, Cassandra, that the customer have 2 earth rods, which are about 6 feet apart, and that they are connected. Because oftentimes customers may have the earth rods, but they're not connected. So the earth rods, 2 of them, connected.
Okay, and those are the pieces of what look like iron stakes in the ground.
Yes, they are. Very important. It means your supply is well grounded.
And that we need.
Yes.
That we definitely need. All right, so we're heading back to the box area?
We're heading back to the meter cubicle now.
The meter cubicle.
Yes.
Again, the terminology. Okay, so talk to us about the meter.
So ideally customers would have 1 meter socket on their house. But this setup, the customer has what we term a 4-meter cubicle, where they can have 4 meters installed. Next, I look to make sure that the 5th pin is in and connected. Here, he has 2 5th pins in, but he's missing the other 2. Those need to be installed prior to the electricity being connected.
Okay, and this, the 5th pin, that would be this in here. Why is it so important for these to be in place before you come to do the inspection?
Well, once we connect, it means the socket base is live, 1. And secondly, once I finish my inspection, I will take some covers, what we call blanks, and I will cover it and blank off so the customer will not be able to get back into
No access
to the socket base.
And that is a safety measure, I imagine.
Safety and security.
Okay, good stuff. All right, so keep us moving through this process.
Right. Next, I check to ensure that the breaker size is correct. On the certificate that they would have received from Government Electrical, they would have indicated the size breaker that they're using. So I ensure that it is actually the size breaker that they have on site.
Well, this is where we say bye-bye for this episode of Energy Talks, right, Cindy? But this was really good, very helpful information.
Thank you, Cassandra. Well, there's lots more that I can say about installations, but you know what? Let's do it in another episode.
I like that. So I will get to return to the locations with Cindy. Thank you for watching. Just keep safe.